Hey everybody, welcome back to Selena's Corner. Today I'm going to talk to you about something I kind of feel like is really important. It's kind of the elephant in the room. And I was remembering something that happened to me personally quite a number of years ago now, because my children were, I only had two children at the time. My oldest son Chris was 9, and then I had my middle son Joshua. He was 5, oh, 4. Yeah, he was 4, and then I was pregnant with my last son, Travis. So my oldest son wanted to play sports, and I always been a bartender or a server, so I worked nights and weekends, and so he wouldn't be able to play sports because I worked nights and weekends. We didn't have any way to get him to practice or to games or tournaments or anything like that. So I made a deal with him that if he could wait long enough for me to go back to school and learn how to do something else, where I could have a daytime job and be off at night and on the weekends, that he could play sports. And he was good about that, and he agreed, and so I went and found something that I would like to do, and I went back to school, and that's what I did. The interesting part was that I actually was a high school dropout. So I needed to get my GED or my high school diploma. And I was always afraid to do that because I was never very good at math, like algebra. I got everything else, but algebra just didn't seem to click in my brain for some reason. I don't know why. Geometry, no problem, but algebra just didn't seem to click for me. So I was always afraid to go and take the GED because I was afraid I would fail the math. So they were going to help me do that in the business college and help me study for the GED and brush up on the math that I felt like I would do poorly in, so that I could, get my diploma in administrative assistance for the business school that I was going to, as well as my GED, so that I wouldn't have to be a high school dropout anymore. And the classes that I took for the business college could transfer to a community college, a 2-year college to get, a bachelor's degree, or I could get my bachelor's degree and then go to a 4-year college if I wanted to do something more. Well, I studied administrative assistance, and about halfway through I realized that I should have been majoring in accounting. It just clicked for me, I don't know why. It's math, okay, that math clicked with me. So for some reason, the GED part never quite came to fruition, so I graduated business college with perfect attendance and 4.0 GPA, well 3.89 GPA, typing technically getting a 4.0, but I still graduated with honors, but still didn't have my GED. So we're going through this pandemic now, and a lot of people are out of work. A lot of people won't have a job when this is over because the business that they worked for had to close because it just could not survive this pandemic. And that's very sad, and I'm fortunate that I still have a job to go to every day, and that we are still open, and I hope that that continues, and that we're able to get through this pandemic together and get back to something we can call normal again. But the thing that I thought about is that maybe I could share with you that, I was always a bartender and a server, and I was very good at it. I made a lot of money as a bartender. I got formal training from a bartender that I worked with as a cocktail server in Fort Worth, Texas, at a place called Costa del Sol. And he had formal training where we could bartend or we could serve formal events. So he found out that I wanted to learn how to be a bartender. So he started training me on the proper way to make a whole spectrum of drinks, from you know, Manhattans and, can't even think, old fashions and the proper way to serve brandy, you know, the right way to make the perfect martini, margaritas, you know, shot drinks. Of course, you know, 1977, 78, you know, shots like we drink now weren't really that popular. You know, they kind of came along over the next 10 years or so. You know, we were just doing like kamikazes at that point in time, but, you know, nothing fancy like we do now. So we concentrated more on the proper way to mix drinks so that I could apply for a job in a restaurant. Any restaurant that I would like to apply, you know, it could be from, you know, maybe the little bar down the road needed a bartender. I could get some experience there. Or the big nightclub down the road, you know, maybe they needed somebody part-time. I could get some experience there. Well, a friend of his opened a restaurant in Fort Worth, Texas, and they needed a bartender. So he got me an interview. He said, I've taught you everything you need to know to go and shine at this job. He said, go get that job. Go sell yourself and get that job. You can do this. And he gave me the confidence to go and apply for that job and really sell myself and let them know that I knew what I was doing. Even though I didn't have any bartending experience, I had a lot of experience serving cocktails, and I knew from this gentleman that I was going to be able to handle this job. And I actually worked for a supervillain. My first bartending job, I worked for Catwoman. Julie Newmar owned a restaurant called Carmelitas, and it was an upscale Mexican food restaurant, and I absolutely loved it. It was a top-notch place. It was open air, the food was fabulous, and of course the drinks were great because I was the bartender. So that's my fun story about my previous job experience. My first job, I worked for Catwoman. So I worked for a Super Bowl. Anyway, so, you know, that's all I ever knew. I was a high school dropout. You know, my first job was a waitress at Pizza Hut, and, you know, my first manager was a really great guy. He taught us the proper way to wait on people. Pizza Hut has the 10 steps of customer service. So he made sure that I understood every single one of these steps and how important they were to good customer service, because that good customer service would translate into tips, which is how, you know, servers and bartenders make a living, is through the tips that they make. Because at the time, well, a lot of places still do, you only made half of minimum wage, and it wasn't very much in 1975, 76, so it wasn't very much then. And bartenders were making full wage plus tips. Again, I'm not sure if that's how it is now. I know that a lot of bartenders, they make a higher wage than minimum wage plus tips because they have a specialized skill. So that's what I always did, and I made good money out of it, and I got paid every day. So sometimes if I needed extra money, I would go and I would work part-time as a bartender so that I could earn a little money. Like my oldest son, he went to Belgium and he played soccer in an international tournament when he was 15. And then my middle son, he went to Europe as a student ambassador for People to People. And so I needed extra money to send them on these trips. So that's what I did. I went and worked, you know, 3 or 4 nights as a bartender plus my daytime job. And it was funny because I was actually making more money part-time bartending than I was making at my regular job. But I still needed the income, and I needed to keep that day job because my kids were playing sports. At one point, my oldest son and I co-coached a couple of soccer teams, and we had a lot of fun, and we won a lot. So, you know, it's just things like that that you remember during times like this that I would like to share with you, is that, you know, don't say I can't, or, you know, what am I going to do? This is awful. You know, things are never going to get better for me again. Well, you know what I was thinking? I was thinking that now is a good opportunity to take some classes online and maybe learn how to do something different. What have you always wanted to do? What is something that you've always wanted to do other than what you were doing before this happened and the economy just fell apart on us? What were you doing? Now, what have you always said, you know, I really wish that I could do this, but I have to go to school for it. Well, I only had to go to school for 12 months to learn how to be an administrative assistant, and I went full time. And there's a lot of things like that now that you could do online. When I did that, I don't even think we were doing AOL at that point. The World Wide Web was like for professionals and the government and that sort of thing. So, but now you can learn anything you want online, or even watching a YouTube channel. There are so many universities and business colleges that are online now that you could be doing at home instead of sitting there worrying about what you're going to do when this is over. Well, how about what are you going to do right now while this is going on? And you don't have anything to do with your time except, you know, maybe watch a movie for the fourth time like I have. Let's see, one second. So, a lot of people are sitting around and, you know, we're not getting up off the sofa, we're not getting up out of the chair, you know, we're sleeping all the time, you know, woe is me, you know, I'm so depressed because life sucks. Yeah, life sucks, okay. But here's what I'm going to tell you. I suffer from major depression, and I can tell you that if you get up off that couch, get up out of that chair, go in to the bathroom. I want you to take a shower or take a bath, whichever one you prefer. Wash your hair. Put on some clean clothes. Ladies, fix your hair like you normally would, like you're going to go out to work. Put some makeup on. Guys, do your hair, throw on some aftershave, shave, or trim up that beard that's looking scraggly at this point. Pretend like you're going to go out or to work or whatever it is that you would normally do that would make you get up and go take a shower and get ready for the day or the night. If you're like I was, working nights for 20 years, do that. Brush your teeth. Put some clean clothes on. Get yourself fixed up and look in the mirror, and you are going to feel so much better than you were just laying on that couch watching that movie for the 4th or 5th time. Okay, you can watch that movie again if you like, and now that you're all cleaned up. But you're going to feel better because that shower is going to make you feel better. You know, getting yourself fixed up is going to make you feel better. Brushing your teeth is going to make you feel better. Now you're going to have a nice fresh breath. Stop. Even if you don't do it but every other day, that's fine too. Save water that way you eat. But get up, get dressed, stop feeling sorry for yourself. Put on a face mask, go out for a walk. Get out of your pajamas. Or if you insist on staying in pajamas, put on some clean ones. Do the laundry. Are you looking around your house and going, oh God, my house is so filthy. This is so depressing. Oh my God. Okay. It's so depressing you don't feel like getting up and cleaning it. But I'm going to tell you something. You get up and you clean that house. And you sit back and you look at how great it looks, you are going to feel so much better. I promise you. You're going to hate the work while you're doing it, but once you get it done, you're going to sit back and you're going to go, I'm all nice and clean, I feel better, my teeth are clean, my hair's done, my makeup's done. house is clean, you're going to feel better, I promise. And then keep it that way. You get those takeout containers, when you're done with them, do not put them on the coffee table. Do not put them on the end table. Don't, no. Get up, walk to the kitchen, and throw it away. Please. Keep it clean. You cleaned it up, you put all that work into it, now keep it that way. Because I promise you, when you look around and you don't see that mess anymore, you're going to feel so much better. So much better. I promise you. And if you don't have, do you know how to eat an elephant? Do you? You eat an elephant one bite at a time. One bite at a time. So if all you can do is the living room, do the living room. Get the trash can, take the trash can, go into the living room, and put all those food containers and empty, drink bottles or whatever into the trash can and take it back to the kitchen. You might have to empty the trash a couple times, and that's okay. How about the kitchen? Kitchen's a mess? Okay, fine. Do the kitchen. Pick one. Pick a room. Pick one room and do that today. Tomorrow, pick another room. Do that room. And the next day, until you have the whole place straightened up. If you have a family, get them to help. The kids, if they can straighten up their room, they don't have to clean the whole thing today. They're probably feeling the same way that we are. This really sucks, and I don't want to do anything. Well, how about let's do something? They'll feel better too, because you'll have a nice clean house, and you'll take some pride in it, and you'll feel better that you finally got up and you did it. But once it's clean, keep it that way. And that way, all you have to do is take this glass to the kitchen, wash it out, put it in the drain, or put it in the dishwasher if that's what you want to do. But I don't have a lot of dishes, and the reason I don't have a lot of dishes is because I clean this glass if I want to get something else to drink. I clean my coffee cup every morning before I go to work. I just do it as you go, and that way you don't have to go back and do a whole room later. It's like I was telling you guys when I was doing that first video that I did. I clean as I go. I was making that cheesecake, and you saw me take and put stuff right there in my sink, and then as soon as I was finished, I washed all that stuff up, dried it, put it all away. If you don't want to do it by hand, that's fine. You have a dishwasher, go in the dishwasher, run the dishwasher. That's all you have to do, then put the dishes away. If you don't want to put the dishes away, use them out of the dishwasher. I don't care what you do. Just clean it up, because I'm telling you, if you clean up your place, your bedroom, your bathroom, and then keep it that way, it will alleviate so much of the stress that we're going through because of this pandemic. Stop watching the news, please. Watch the news in the morning to get the weather, catch up a little bit, listen for important information, important updates, but don't have the news on 24/7. I admit that September 11th turned me into a news junkie. I just had to have every bit of information about what happened and why it happened, and who perpetrated that awful crime against humanity. And it wasn't just Americans that died that day. People from all over the world worked in those Twin Towers, worked at the Pentagon, were on that airplane. The whole world was affected by that, and it turned me into a news junkie for a really long time, and that's just not good for us. We just cannot sit there and listen to gloom and doom all the time. We've got to no, we can't do that. Can't do that. Put on something fun. You guys got board games? Play a game. You guys got jigsaw puzzles? Do jigsaw puzzles. You want to play cards, solitaire, whatever. Look for, some fun how-to videos on YouTube, but don't keep the news on 24/7 because it's just gonna, we have enough to deal with in our personal lives every day without having to deal with the constant news cycle. And I'm gonna tell you, I'm pro-mask. I don't leave my house to walk my service dog, walk my dog without putting a mask on. None of my neighbors wear one. None of my neighbors wear one. All of my co-workers, we have to wear one when we're at work because of the kind of place that we work at. Like I said, we work in a restaurant, bar, it's an arcade, a bowling counter, bowling center, and we have two-story laser tag, and we have bumper cars, and we have a redemption center where you can cash your tickets in for prizes, which is a lot of fun. I work in a really fun place, but because of what's going on right now, we have to protect each other. We have to protect ourselves. For me, I worked for a doctor after I got out of business college for like 5 years, 4.5, 5 years, and I learned a lot about keeping myself safe from people who were sick, just from working there. So a few years later, I worked for Walmart for almost 10 years. And during the time, and that was my part-time job, I worked for a security guard company as an office manager during the day, and then Walmart was my part-time job because my mom fell and broke her hip. We shared a home together. She fell and broke her hip, and she wasn't able to work anymore. So I had to get another job to help fill in the money that she wasn't going to be bringing into the household anymore. So Walmart was my choice. So I worked as a customer service. I started as a cashier and worked my way up to customer service manager. While I was a customer service manager, the swine flu pandemic hit. And, as customer service managers, we touched everything. We touched all the money, all the registers, everything. We touched everything. We'd be in the pharmacy and there'd be sick people in there that didn't have anybody that could come in for them to take care of getting their medications or what they needed from the grocery store or whatever. They had to come to the store themselves. And so we had to know how to keep ourselves safe. And I have taken what I learned from the doctor's office with me throughout my life to keep me safe. And I hope and pray that, I would be able to get through this pandemic without getting sick or if I do end up sick, that I'll be able to make it through. So, wash your hands, sanitize your hands. You can make your own hand sanitizer now because we're so far into this. You should be able to get your hand sanitizers and your antibacterial soap and your face mask. Think about it this way. Think about that mask is protecting you. Not just you in case you're sick, because a lot of times we can be sick and not know we're sick, and we're making other people sick because we don't know yet that we're sick. Swine flu was the same thing. Swine flu was exactly the same thing. And I remember people I had coworkers that were out of work for like 8 weeks. 8 weeks. Swine flu was so bad. And I was just like, I hope I don't get it, I hope I don't get it, I hope I don't get it. And my mom had passed away right before that happened she died from cancer. So I just remember being thankful that she wasn't alive because I was really sure that it would have taken her, for sure, because it was terrible. It was awful. I had the flu twice in 1 year, a couple of years before that, and yeah, I don't ever want to be that sick again. It was awful. So, wear a mask. Please do it for you. Do it for you, okay? Just do it for you. So, I also want to talk about, don't let people tell you what you can and can't do. This table right here, I refinished the table myself. Who's going to tell me I can't do it? I figured out how to do it, and I refinished it and did it myself. When I bought this table, it was covered in white fuzz from a vinyl tablecloth that somebody had put on this table. I guess they were using it in the garage or something. I don't know. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful table. Too pretty for what they were using it for. and it's got a leaf that goes with it too. And these chairs, I've recovered the seats on these chairs too. But the lady talked me into buying it. She said, just get some alcohol and some bouillon and take that fuzzy stuff off of there from that tablecloth and get a sander. I got a hand sander and sand off the old varnish. You know, I scraped off as much as I could and I sanded it down smooth, and then I polyurethaned it. It's a stain and the polyurethane together and refinished the table, and it looks brand new. So I was like, okay, so I paid $80 for this table, a leaf, and 4 chairs. And one of the chairs is worth more than what I paid for the whole set. So don't tell yourself. A lot of times that's what happens. We tell ourselves that we can't do something. Don't do that. Tell yourself, I can. I smoked cigarettes until I was 53 years old. I'm 60 years old now. So August 10th was my 7-year anniversary for quitting smoking. And I was the person that was like, nah, I'll never quit. I like smoking too much. And the fact of the matter is that I was so addicted to nicotine that one time when I had surgery on my ear, I'm hearing impaired, so that's kind of why I talk funny. But I had surgery on my ear 3 times, and the second time that I had surgery on my ear, I was at the Navy hospital. I was a military attendant at the time. So I was at the Navy hospital, and they didn't tell me, they knew I was a smoker. They didn't tell me that they had a tobacco-free policy, and that as a patient, I was not allowed to go to the smoking deck or go outside and smoke a cigarette while I was a patient in the hospital. And I was in the hospital for 2 days. Yeah, I was a crazy person by the time I got out of there. I was ready to kill something or someone. It was bad. So that put me off to wanting to quit. So I was like, I tried everything. I tried the patch. I still smoke. I tried the gum. I still smoke. I tried the lozenges. I still smoke. So I had basically resolved that I was just always going to be a smoker, and that I was probably going to die from lung cancer like my grandmother and my mother did. Well, I don't have to say that anymore because I used e-cigs came along. The vaping pens came along, and it was exactly like smoking, and that's what I needed. I needed something that was just like smoking for me to quit, because your brain is conditioned to hand to mouth, hand to mouth, hand to mouth, and seeing that smoke go up for all those years, your brain just gets conditioned to seeing that. So when e-cigs came along, and the UPS guy, who's a good friend of mine now, thank you very much, I thank him because he would come into my day job at the security company when he would deliver stuff, and he would take my cigarettes and he would go, you need to quit these. You need to start vaping. You gotta quit these. So I just, if you smoke or you have an addiction, or maybe you drink more than you should, and you know you need to quit, you're not going to quit until you want to do it for you, because you want better for yourself. So, I was telling you, you go on YouTube and you can find anything. My youngest son, Travis, he was telling me about these videos. He's like, Mom, gotta watch these videos. They have a lot of really good information on them. And I know how you like to learn things, and I always want to say it was the Zeitgeist or the Zygalist or something like that, and I swear I cannot remember what the name of it is, like the greatest truths ever told or something like that. Don't quote me, because I honestly do not remember. It's just been a really long time ago that I read it. Oh, I'm sorry, watched these videos, and it was a series of videos, and it seemed like the reason I can't find it anymore, I think that about 2 or 3 years after I watched these videos, they made them private, I was a subscriber, but I don't know why I can't watch these videos anymore. Maybe it's a paid subscription now. I'm not sure. But one of the videos that he did, he said he was talking about psychotropic drugs, like for ADD, ADHD, and bipolar disorder, and cigarettes, the nicotine in cigarettes, and opioid addiction. He was talking about addiction and how they work on your brain. And he was talking about, he said, think about this. He said, if you have an addiction, you need to find a way to get over that addiction. Quit smoking or quit drinking or, go to rehab. Whatever it is that you need to do to safely quit your addiction or get whatever this is out of your life, do it. He said, think about this. He said, what if we found ourselves in a shit hit the fan situation and you couldn't get those things that you're addicted to anymore? It's going to be one hell of a rough road if you're addicted to something serious and we have a pendant of it. What happened the first few months? We couldn't go out. Everything closed. We couldn't get what we needed because people were hoarding these items. I know in my state, we're only allowed to buy so many cartons of cigarettes when we go to the store. So I was like, I'm so glad that I listened to that guy and I got past my addiction, because going through nicotine withdrawal was probably one of the worst things I've ever been through. I never wanted to feel that way again, and it made me desperate to never be out of cigarettes ever again, and never put myself in a situation where I was someplace where I could not smoke ever again. It flipped the switch with me. So when I watched this video, and e-cigs were becoming really popular at the time. Vaping was becoming really popular at the time. And I just got thinking about it, and just one day, I just got up one Sunday morning and went over to the e-cig store and got myself, starter pack, I'll just say starter pack, and started vaping. And the thing that I figured out was that a lot of people aren't successful with using the e-cig or with vaping because it's supposed to be a smoking cessation program, is what e-cigs really are. And a lot of people just like switch from cigarettes, which are really horrible for you. Everybody knows cigarettes are bad for you. Cigarettes can kill you. Don't smoke. If you don't smoke, don't pick it up. Never. Don't touch cigarettes. If you don't smoke, no. If somebody offers to help you, no. No. Don't smoke. I'm telling you, don't smoke. So, it's supposed to be a smoking cessation program. So you're supposed to wean yourself up little by little by little, just like the patch. It starts at this level and you work your way down until you don't have to use it anymore. Same with nicotine gum. It comes in different milligrams. You're supposed to work your way down until you don't need it anymore. Okay? So that's what a lot of people are not successful with vaping, because they don't start at a high enough level. If you smoke a lot of cigarettes every day, you need to start at a high level of nicotine with the e-cig or with vaping. Okay? I always use the store-bought product. I never used a modified e-cig. Never used a modified battery. Never. Every time that I have heard that somebody had a battery explode in their pocket, or the pocketbook, or in their bag, whatever, every time I've heard about that situation, the words modified or mod were always in the story. I never use a modified product for that reason. They come from the manufacturer a certain way for a reason. Don't modify those things. Buy what you like, use it. Okay? I bought an extra battery too. Bought extra tanks. I had, 1 or 2 bottles of juice at a time. If I would get down to like a half a bottle and I knew they were going to be closed tomorrow, I would make sure I always had juice, e-cig juice with me. So what I did is I made a promise to myself that I started here, and every 2 bottles I would work my way down until I was at 0 and I didn't need to smoke anymore. So I'll be honest with you, it took me a while, even at 0, to finally just put it down and not use it anymore, because I was making the excuse that my brain was still conditioned to seeing that hand to mouth and the smoke thing going up. Well, each time I would step down a level in nicotine, I would vape a lot more, like the first few days. And then I wouldn't vape, I would go back to what I was vaping, like here, there, the other place. And I started to challenge myself to go in like a whole shift without going outside to smoke or use my e-cig. So a promise that I made to myself and to other people was that I would never use my e-cig someplace that you're not allowed to smoke, because that's not fair. I mean, I would be working a register at Walmart and somebody would have smoke go up in the air and I'd just be like, oh, okay, they're using an e-cig. I'm like, okay, we're not allowed to smoke in here. Oh, it's an e-cig. Yeah, well, where I work, you're not allowed to smoke or use the e-cig, because, if they can't smoke, then you can't use your vaping pen, and you shouldn't. You really shouldn't. It's just a matter of courtesy. Just don't. If you can't smoke in that restaurant, you can't smoke in that bar, you can't smoke at work, you have to go and you take your break just like people who smoke cigarettes. Treat it the same way. Have the common courtesy to treat your vaping pen or your e-cig the same way that you would if you were smoking a cigarette. So, little by little, I gave it up. I got down to 3, then I got down to 0, and I just kind of got stuck at 0 for a long time. So one day, just like the day that I decided I was going to get up and I was going to go, I was going to stop putting it off and I was just going to do it. Because I did not want to find myself in a situation where, there's a lot of unrest in the world now. I did not want to find myself in a situation where I was addicted to nicotine, knowing what my reaction, what my withdrawal symptoms were. So I got up and I went and did it. So Valentine's Day this year, I put my e-cig down and I have not touched it since. And then not a month later, this pandemic just blew up on us. And everything shut down, so I wouldn't have been able to go and get my juice from my vaping pen at all. I would have just been sitting there going, yeah, no. If you have an addiction right now, I implore you to put it down. If it is safe for you to put it down, put it down. If you need to go to rehab, now's the time to do that. Now is the time to do that, because a lot of people aren't working and we're sitting at home, and now is the time to do these things that we need to get done. You want to go back to school? Go online. You want to learn how to do something new? Go online. Just get it done. You can do this. Trust me. If somebody like me can quit smoking cigarettes, and I liked smoking, but I knew in the back of my mind that it was bad for me, and that if something bad happened in the world, shit hit the fan situation, or a pandemic, that I was going to find myself, Withdrawal ain't no joke. I don't care what it is a person is addicted to, it ain't no joke. And a lot of people, it will drive you to do something you normally would not do if you were sober or you were not addicted to cigarettes. I promise you, if you give up your addiction, find a way, make that call today. Find a way, go online, find a way to quit whatever it is that you're doing. There is too many people out there ready to support you. There are people out there who understand what you're going through. They've been there, they've done that. They know what you're going through. They know what you'll go through, and they can help you through that. Yeah, okay, we might fall, but we just got to get back up again and start over again. I mean, I should have given up cigarettes 20 years ago. I should have given up cigarettes 30 years ago. Actually, I shouldn't have started smoking at all, but I came from a family of smokers. You know, I thought those people were cool. I came from a generation who started smoking when they were 13 years old. First cigarette I ever had, I was 6 years old, and I liked it. I always liked it. I always liked smoking cigarettes. And trust me, I got my butt tore up a number of times because I got caught stealing cigarettes from my grandma or my mom or my aunt. Yeah, so, and I didn't want to get lung cancer. I knock on wood, I hope that I have quit soon enough in my life and that my body is able to just repair itself. Thank God our bodies are so miraculous that I won't have to suffer what I watched my grandmother go through, what I watched my mom go through. And I've watched other people go through it too. And I hope that I was able to kick that habit early enough that I won't have to go through that. So the thing I wanted to tell you today is that if there's something that you want to do, if there's something you've been thinking of doing, something you always wanted to learn how to do, now is the time to do it. Maybe you were thinking about a career change before this started. Okay, well, here's your chance. Learn how to do something else. I mean, if you don't have a high school diploma, you need to get your GED. You can study for that online. You may have to go and take the test in person for integrity reasons or whatever regulations you may have in your state. We have to take ours in person here in South Carolina. But I'm going to tell you something. I was 44 years old when I went and I took the GED because I was afraid of the math. But I went to school for 2 months and I studied and they taught me what I needed to. We have some amazing people that work in our GED program here in Dorchester District 2 in South Carolina, and they work. A lot of people that were young. There were people there that were older than me. There were people there that were the same age as me. There were people there that were, you know, required to be there. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Get your education. It's important because once you, there's a lot of jobs you can't even get without at least a GED. You can't be a security guard in South Carolina without at least a GED. Security guard work is important. We need security guards. But you can't get a job in South Carolina as a security guard without a GED. There are a lot of places that will not hire you even for the simplest job, working a counter at a hamburger joint without a GED. It's important because that means that you were able to commit to that small thing to get your GED. I quit school because I found out I wasn't going to be able to afford to go to college. I always wanted to be a veterinarian. I wanted to be a veterinarian, I wanted to specialize in African wildlife, and I wanted to go to Africa, and I wanted to be a bush vet. I wanted to work with elephants. That was just my dream. But I found out I couldn't afford to go to college. My family was dirt poor. I mean, it was me and my mom. We were eating beans and rice and butter on our bread if we were lucky. We couldn't even afford cornmeal to make corn, please. Sugar in our tea? No, that was a luxury. And my friends didn't know that. My friends did not know that I was going through that while I was going to school. So when my high school counselor, my guidance counselor, she didn't tell me that my grades, and I was an honor student. I was an honor roll student. She didn't tell me that my grades could get me a scholarship, or at least money to go to college. She didn't tell me that I could get student loans to go to college. Well, kind of thankful because I don't have student loan debt, but trust me, to be a veterinarian and to achieve my dream, to me, it would have been worth it. So when I figured out I couldn't go to college because my guidance counselor didn't do her job, I quit school and went to work and helped my mom pay the bills. So that we were eating better than beans and rice for dinner every night. So I went through life, and then when I had children, I always told my kids, you need to get an education, you need to graduate high school, you need to go to college. What do you want to do? What do you want to do with your life? Education, 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 education. They were really good at sports, but let's be real here. Not everyone who is good at sports, even though 2 of them were state champions and the youngest one was a state champion twice, even though they were good at sports, didn't mean that would translate to a scholarship in high school. We have to be realistic here. We have to be realistic. Not everyone who's good at sports is going to get a scholarship to go to college. So you gotta have a fallback. You got to have a fallback. Work hard, study hard, get good grades, get a tutor if you're not so good at certain subjects. Get somebody to help you. That smart guy, that smart girl that's in your class that gets it, I'll bet you they'd be willing to help you. I bet you they could help show you what it is that helps them get it. My middle son is a genius. He is so smart. I mean, he is a genius. Honest to God, genius. And he would tutor kids when he was in junior high and high school. When he went to Europe, while he was in Europe, when he went to his second country, I sent a fax to him that he would get when he arrived that told him that the young lady that he had tutored over the summer had gotten, no, he tutored her before school ended, right before school ended, so it was over the spring break, I guess, for going into the final semester of the year. So, and she wasn't doing so well. So he tutored her in 2 subjects, and the facsimile that I sent him when he got to his second country told him that she had not only passed all of her classes, but she had gotten on the honor roll for the first time ever. He gets it. And somebody your age can help you understand what it is that just isn't quite clicking for you. So ask the smart kids, say, hey, I just don't get this, and I know you make really good grades, maybe you can help me understand it. Just ask them. Or, get a tutor. Go online. Look it up on Google. There's a lot of things that I haven't, hey Google, how do you so-and-so and such and such? And there it is. You find out how to do it.
I don't know how to help with that. Here are other things you can try.
See? I said a little too loud, sorry. But, there's no excuses. No excuses. So, I was 44 when I got my GED. I was afraid all that time because of the math. So, the morning that I went to take the GED, the very first test that I had to take was the math. I was like, okay, this is great. So I get the math out of the way. It reminds me of a motivational speaker I heard one time, and this is the first thing I thought of after I finished my math does. And went outside to smoke a cigarette. Don't tell nobody. So, it was so easy. It was so easy. As soon as, and I mean, I breezed through it, and then I look around, and nobody else is done, and I'm like, uh-oh. Either it was really, really easy, just like I felt like it was, or I just like failed the whole thing, and I just am full of myself. But all I could think was, I just wish that I had someone who could kick me really hard right now for putting this off for so long, and I was so afraid to just do it, just go and do it. And then it occurred to me that this motivational speaker had said that he didn't really like pie crust, but he had been raised that when he went to someone's home, that he should at least try what they served him. And when it came to pie, he would always eat the pie crust first because he didn't like it. And then he could enjoy the pie. And that was the first thing that came to our mind. I was like, well, I just ate the pie crust. Now I can enjoy the pie. Because I did not have any apprehension at all about any of the other subjects that I would be doing that day, including the essay that I would have to write. Didn't know, have a clue what the subject was going to be that I would have to write about. But right then and there, that came to my mind. I ate the pie crust first, now I can enjoy the pie. Then, after we finished the test, yeah, then came the wait. It's about a 6-week wait to get your test results. And when my test results came in an email, I was ready to open it. So I asked my son, well, Joshua and Travis were there. I asked them to open it and tell me how I did. So this is how I did. I had a letter included with my test scores from the Secretary of Education, the Department of Education in South Carolina, Inez Tannenbaum. And it was to congratulate me on being my scores from the top 5% of all test takers in the state of South Carolina for that year. Yeah, not only did I pass the math, but I blew out everything else. And I was just like, I can't believe that I put this off for so long. I missed so many opportunities. I could have gone to community college and, got a 2-year degree and taken that 2-year degree to a 4-year college. Maybe I could have been a veterinarian's assistant. Maybe it's too late for me to be a veterinarian, but maybe I could have been a veterinarian's assistant. So, don't do what I did. Don't waste your life being afraid to do things. Stop telling yourself that you can't, and start telling yourself that you can, and go and get it done. During this pandemic, you've still got a ways to go, guys. Come on. Cases are rising every day. We know we've still got a ways to go. We don't know what's going to happen come January when the new president's sworn in. Maybe it won't be anything more than just mandatory masks. Wear your mask now. Just get over it. You don't like wearing it? Well, I don't either. I'm claustrophobic. Hate wearing the thing. But it keeps me safe. Okay? It keeps me safe. And if I got sick, and I caught this awful virus, I have a mask on when I'm out in public. So I'm not risking someone else, a family member. I even wear it around my family. I know that sounds crazy, but I wear it around my family. We all went trick-or-treating together. My middle son, his fiance, and their 2 children, Brandy baby. He's so cute. A little over a month old. And my next door neighbors, her son and their little boy, it was his first time trick-or-treating. We all went trick-or-treating together. I wore a mask the entire time that we were trick-or-treating. Pushed my little service dog around in her little stroller, but I wear my mask the whole time, and it was hot. But all those people out there, that was a safety measure that I took so that I could enjoy spending time with my family and watching those little kids trick or treat. It was so much fun. I did a couple of Periscope videos, haunted houses and stuff like that. So if you have to make it about you, make it about you. But make it about keeping yourself safe. You walk out that door, put a mask on. You get to your car, you can take it off, set it on your lap. You get out of the car, put your mask on. You go into the store, put your mask on. I don't get out of my car, I don't leave my house, I don't go into my job without putting my mask on. I just can't do it because I don't want to get sick. And if I do get sick for whatever reason that I do end up testing the virus, and gosh, I hope I don't. I pray every night that I don't. Pray every night to keep everybody I know, my family and friends safe, and their friends and their family safe. But if it happens, I just hope that I've taken enough safety precautions that I'm not going to make somebody else sick. I mean, this thing was so serious to me right from the beginning that I put a file on my computer, on my desktop that says, read me if I die. And it's a letter that I wrote to my family and my friends and my coworkers and my followers on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube, that things that I want you guys to know. If something happens to me and I don't have the opportunity to tell you myself to your face. So I'm hoping I kind of have a little philosophy that if I have it, I won't need it. So that was my thinking behind that. That if I have this ready to go, then I'm not going to need it. And I'm going to take all my safety precautions that I need to take in the meantime. But my main reason for sitting down with you today was to tell you that if there's something that you want to do, now's the time to do it. Don't live with regret and go, I wish I had this, I wish I had that, I wish I had the other. When I went to my GED graduation, there were 4 of my son's friends there that had come to our house and had dropped out of high school because, it's hard. High school is hard, and it could be mean and it could be miserable for a lot of people because of bullies or teachers just are not very good at their jobs. I'm sorry, but that's just how it is, and kids they can't deal with the pressures that go on at the high school level, and I understand that. I completely understand that. I was always a misfit. I was kind of one. I've always been a loner, and that's because all the people in my family were in their 50s, 60s, and 70s when I was born. So I was always the youngest, the newest one to come along. My 74-year-old grandma took care of me when I was kidnapped by my father as a baby, and he went to prison for that. And when he got out of prison, my mom took me and hid me, and I lived under an alias, an assumed name. It's okay to do that as long as you're not doing it for illegal reasons, because the judge wouldn't let her change my name. But I lived with my great-grandparents and my great-aunt, beginning when I was 4 years old, under a fake name until I was 18 years old. And nobody knew. My friends did not know, most of my family members did not know that Renee Holder was not my name. When I turned 18 years old, my friends gave me a surprise birthday party. At 18 years old, you could drink in 1978. So they gave me a surprise birthday party, and of course we had a lot of booze, and we had a big party and everything, and I was like, I had decided that day, my 18th birthday, that I was going to start going by my legal name, and that I was going to come clean, that I was not who they thought I was. And I was going to tell my friends and hope and pray that they wouldn't be mad that I had lied to them all these years. Because most of them I had known since, you know, junior high school. So that whole time, they didn't know, and I didn't tell them, because what if he had been looking for me, and what if he was still mad, and what if. I lived with that what if my whole life growing up, and when I was about to become 18, I didn't want to live with that anymore. I was going to take ownership of my life, and I was going to live my life on my terms, and if I walked around a corner one day and walked right into him, well, that's just how it was going to be. And when I turned 19, I looked him up, and I met him, because I just feel like there are two sides to every story, and I felt like I had not been told the truth by my mother and my grandmother, I'm sorry to say. Just sometimes when you hear the story, things just didn't add up to me. So I decided that I was going to take that chance, and I was going to meet my father. So I did, and I was not sorry. He had the same story that she had, and funny thing of it is that let's just say they both were liars. They both lied to me. They're dead and gone, so I can say it. They both lied, and I got my DNA done a few years ago, and it doesn't match anybody on my mother's side of the family, or who I always thought was my mother's side of the family. It matches a bunch of people on my father's side, but it doesn't match anybody on my mother's side. So I probably still don't know who I am at the age of 60 years old, but that's just how it is, I guess. There are people who know what happened to me. There are people who know who I really am. When we ask those people who know what happened, they're like, we don't want to talk about it. We don't talk about it. We can't talk about it. It's like, the people involved are dead and gone. I mean, there's nobody here to get you in trouble if you tell the truth. I have a right to know. It's my life. I have a right to know. If I have another family out there that I was taken from, I have a right to know. They may still be looking for me. They may still be looking for me. And they haven't uploaded their DNA to the database yet. I'm on like 3 different databases hoping to get a hit for my mother's side of the family. I see a lot of DNA results of names I have never heard of before on my maternal side. And it's like, okay. So maybe someday someone will reach out to me. So the whole point, the whole situation is you can't be afraid. You can't. You've got to stop saying I can't. You've got to stop letting people tell you that you can't, and just go and do it. Nothing illegal. Don't be doing nothing illegal. Okay? I didn't tell you to do that. I told you to go and do something that you want to do. Want to learn how to decorate cakes? Learn how to decorate cakes. Cake decorators or people who make cakes make a lot of money. I used to decorate cakes. I would make 30 cakes a week for the doctor that I worked at. And that, you pay me $20 a cake, and you add that up. 20 times 30? I make a wedding cake, $300. I sell birthday cakes for $20, $40, $50, and this is 10 or 15 years ago. Okay? You want to be a cake decorator? Learn how to be a cake decorator. There are so many ways. I went to the Wilkins class at the local hobby shop. Got pretty good at it. I read a stack of books like this, all of them different techniques on cake decorating. And I took a little of this and a little of that and a little of this and a little of that, and I put it into my own technique, and it's my own unique way of decorating cakes. I can take a picture of a cake. I can take a picture out of a, let's say, a coloring book. Make a copy of it big enough to fit on the cake that I'm making, or small enough to fit on the cake that I'm making, depending on the size of the cake. And I can make that picture look just like the other one. I'll upload a picture of it so you can see it. But don't stop saying I can't. Stop saying I can't. Stop putting those stumbling blocks in your path. Step over them. Find a way to do it. Find a way to do it. You can go to school online. You can watch videos. Practice, practice, practice. Whatever it is that you want to practice. Just do it. Stop saying I can't. So, for that, I guess that's all I had to say. I appreciate you stopping by Selena's Corner today. I hope you'll stop by again. But I just felt like I needed to talk to you about this pandemic and what to do with the time that we have right now. So, if you're depressed and you don't know what to do, get up, go take a shower, brush your teeth, fix your hair, put on your makeup, trim your beard and mustache, put on some clean clothes or pajamas if you must. Clean up the house, even if you have to do it a room at a time. Trust me, you will feel better. I promise. See you next time.